How do you go about finding the right trading strategy for you? There's a lot of trading strategies out there, from the wheel strategy to credit spreads, diagonals, double diagonals, butterflies, calendars. I mean, you name it. There's tons of strategies out there. So how do you go about finding the right strategy that's the right and appropriate fit? So in this video, I'm going to share with you some insight. If you're brand new here, I'm Sasha, the options coach. I've been teaching people to trade options over the last decade. Got a lot of classes and courses that we've done, including some on a ton of different strategies, like the reverse wheel, the bridge strategy, rocket strategy, leaps. I mean, you name it. There's a ton of strategies out there. But how do you go about finding the right strategy? And I think a lot of people confuse this when they go in and say, hey, well, first off, which one makes more money? And they look on the money side of it. But when you go in and you do these kinds of things, it's not a one-sided thing, or it's not a one item that you're actually looking for in terms of that's the strategy you pick. It's like trying to pick a spouse. It's like, which one makes the most money, or which one looks the best right now? Those things can change, right? Jobs can change, looks can change. All of those things change over time. And the same thing in terms of strategies is that, hey, these things evolve and grow. But I think what you have to look at is the progression or steps that you go through when you look at evolving. So the first thing is I always tell people, if you're trying to learn to, let's say, play piano. Okay, so let's say I'm trying to learn to play the piano. What most people are trying to do in terms of trading, just like they're trying to play the piano, they try to go in and say, okay, I want to go in and do a concert, and I want to make money from that concert right away. And they actually start aiming for, okay, well, let me go in and start making some trades and try to make some money. It doesn't look too hard or too difficult. I watched a few YouTube videos. Yeah, let me go play a concert. But when you look at actually people that play the piano, what are they doing? They might actually play things that are, exercises for their fingers and working on chords, working on bits and pieces of the song. You might do different things where you're actually practicing the different notes, the different parts of the song. You're not actually playing the full song all the way. You might play part of it because you're not hitting it. You're misstepping. So you might even play different songs. There might be multiple songs in there in the mix, and seeing which one do you do well. So out of, let's say out of 10 or 15 songs, you say, okay, well, these are the 3 songs that I'm actually doing really well, and those are the ones I'll play at the concert. But that's not how people approach trading. They go in and say, oh, I like that strategy, so I'm going to go in and do that one. Or that one sounds good from a YouTube video. I'm going to go and do this strategy. So before you even get to those strategies, you have to first do the warm-ups way before you get into the more complicated strategies. So when you first start out, it probably should be learning the basics behind how these things actually work. Then maybe get into, I would say, in most people's progression, you're going to go into the wheel strategy or sell covered calls if you're getting into options. Okay, so now you've got covered calls. After you do covered calls, then it's possible, okay, so think of this as like level 2, version 2. Then you might go into vertical spreads, whether that's selling or buying them. And you could go into calendars or iron condors. I think at this stage, it now doesn't matter, but whichever strategy at a basic level, you could start going into those, and then maybe going into butterflies, and then diagonals maybe after that. And by this stage, you can almost hop into any strategy, and you'll also start doing varieties or variations of those strategies. But that's kind of a stepping stone to learning all of these different things. Once you've actually learned kind of the basics behind it, now what you're going to do is do an evolution of those. Okay, so you might take, let's say, an iron condor, but to do an iron condor, there's different types of iron condors. We just did a class on iron condors actually not too long ago, right here, a deep dive into iron condors. But there's different types of iron condors. So when we look at these types of iron condors, like equidistant, equal delta iron condors, high probability, low probability, unbalanced, gamma or reverse iron condors, there's a ton of different types of iron condors. And by the way, if you're interested in this class, just check the description or check out our website. There you can grab this class for yourself, or you can actually get kind of like an annual membership to getting a bunch of the classes that we've got. Anyway, the point is you're going to take this iron condor and now evolve it to whether it's a balanced one or an unbalanced one. There's different varieties of iron condors, and you're going to modify it to your personal needs. And at the end of the day, now what you've got is kind of a couple of different strategies that you like. You might have strategy 1, 2, 3, and you're trying to see and figure out, like, okay, which one is a match, and that is the one you'll probably go with. Okay, and you'll fine tune it and modify it and so on, but you'll have to test a couple of strategies to see what's the right fit, because you're not going just necessarily on things you like and things you see. Yes, in some regards, things you like will create a match, but what you're looking for is not always the best return. Ironically, that's hard to say, or people might disagree. You're actually not looking for the strategy that makes the most money. You're actually looking for the strategy that makes the most money for you and modifying it, because it's about the match. Just like I mentioned earlier, if you're looking for a spouse or a partner of some sort, it's not just about how much money they are making, right? It's not just about their looks. It's not just about the activities. It's not just about, the way they cook and clean and like to live and what time they wake up, all these types of things. There's a lot of things behind it. It might be the spiritual part behind it, like how spiritual or religious are they, or are they not? That could be a big deal breaker. It could be on, do they want kids or do they not? So there's a lot of things behind it that create a match. It's not just about the money or the kids or the spiritual or the activities that they do, because if you get somebody that loves to, let's say, run, and you're a runner, but everything else is misaligned, and it just is not going to work. And that's the same with a trading strategy, is that you go in and you say, okay, well, what is the strategy as a match? Well, the strategy as a match is when things are in alignment. It's what your risk levels, your risk tolerance. Can you handle it? Are you competent with it? Can you manage it, adjust it, tweak it, modify it if you need to? Can you keep up with it? Is it too complex? Is it not? Does it match your account balance, and so on? So all of those things kind of play a role. Just like if you're doing covered calls, and we did like a class not too long ago about, let's say, covered calls or defending covered calls. Well, if you have a small account of, let's say, $10,000, it's very difficult to do covered calls if certain stocks are, let's say, $475 for you to do covered calls. There's a $47,000 position right off the bat. So it makes it difficult. So that is not a fit. You might use that as a strategy to learn what you're doing with options, but it may not be the right fit for you to do to actually generate income. You might have to do that strategy for a while until you're actually, hey, at least I'm comfortable with it. It's kind of like choosing a car or a vehicle. Look, this is the BYD, probably one of the best electric vehicles in the market. It's a Chinese brand. And when you look at it, okay, well, do I want a regular vehicle or do I want a truck? Well, somebody that is building houses might want more like a truck because they might use it for business. Somebody that just needs a simple get around vehicle, they might do something more like a sedan or something to that effect, or a coupe. So when you look at this, it's like, oh, what is it that makes sense for you? And then does it apply, and can you handle it? Can you afford it, and so forth? And very similar to doing a trading strategy. But most people, they don't approach it that way. They look at it and say, ooh, I like this one. Ooh, this one makes me smile, but it might not be the right fit. This one's not the right fit. You might like it, but it's not right for you. So anyway, so the point is that finding something that works for you, you have to first try a bunch of stuff. And some of that means a progression of steps, like, hey, learning the basics, then going into covered calls, then going into vertical spreads. And you might have to go through that procedure. After that, after vertical spreads, you can kind of go into a couple of different zones, because that's already the basics. You've got the basics foundation. And then you fine tune and modify those. And now you've got a couple of different strategies you could play with. And then you fine tune and say, okay, well, I like this one. I don't like these two. And I'm going to go with this strategy. I'm going to fine tune it and modify it. And that's going to be my strategy. And then you might even tweak it a bit further and later. So my point is here, you're trying to fine tune it over the course of time and period. And it takes a little bit of trial and error at the beginning, but don't just hop in saying, hey, I like a certain strategy, and say that's the one you're going to go with, because in a lot of cases, it doesn't work out. It's kind of like our first date we ever had back in grade school, or, your first kiss that you ever had. A lot of times it doesn't work out. It's going to be, somebody that you're with a longer time period. It might be someone later down the road or future. So anyways, that's very similar in trading, is take it a step at a time, embrace those things, try a lot of different things at the beginning, but don't dive head first into it, and then fine tune, modify it, tweak it, build on your repertoire, build on your skill set. Here, just like I mentioned, just like you're playing a song, is go through it, work out, do the chords, do different songs, figure out which song is the best fit for you, and build those skill sets. And then, get into version 2, version 3 of it, evolve it in making it your own. Anyways, hope that helps. Truly appreciate it. If you're interested in these classes, let me know. Check out our website. Tons more there. And hope to see you in one of them. If not, feel free to shoot me some messages through our website if you got any questions. All right, take care. Enjoy the rest of the week.